I'm going to walk you chronologically through the time frame in which I knew it was bad to really bad.
The world of iRacing was rocked in February when former F1 racer and Rallycross champion Scott Speed was caught on a live stream trying to crash into another opponent on the racing sim, popular with actual racing pros. We had a chance to sit down with Scott and iRacing itself to cover this landmark event in online racing history. Let's give a little backstory on what actually happened. In February, an iRacing streamer that goes by YT Biggs was involved in an incident where another driver tried to intentionally crash into him multiple times. It just so happens that the offending driver was Scott Speed. Coverage snowballed from there, popping up on bigger and bigger sites across the internet. What set this apart from just guy being a jerk on a racing game is that iRacing isn't like other racing games. iRacing is serious, and it takes crashing seriously.
Well, the first thing that happened is my email box lit up because this race was being streamed live. So all of a sudden, the people who were watching this race started emailing me.
Nim Cross is iRacing's chief steward, who officiates the game based on protests sent in by players. If a player feels like someone wronged them, they can submit a protest. Then Cross gets the protest and makes a decision. Nim gets hundreds of protests daily and said he can get around 150 on a good day. Scott's stood out for being so high profile.
Everybody is treated the same. There are many real-world racers out there that have been suspended. There are people that work for this company that I've suspended. Everybody has to be held to the same rules when they're racing. If not, then it's just kind of silly.
What makes iRacing different from other games is that players pay a monthly subscription fee. Even though they pay a fee, players are subject to penalties and suspensions by the game's officiating staff. It's just like a real race with real stewards. If drivers don't behave, they're subject to the consequences.
Scott's was a little bit different because he retaliated about 3 or 4 times. Other than that, usually it's once that happens.
It wasn't long before Scott realized how far south things had gone, when word started coming back to him about what he'd done online.
I'm going to walk you chronologically through the time frame in which I knew it was bad to really bad. Obviously, I wrecked this guy, powered it off. It was like, okay, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. I'm walking my little girl into gymnastics class and someone's talking smack on my Facebook and I wasn't even paying attention, so I just talked some smack right back with absolutely no thought whatsoever. A couple hours later we go back in the car and my phone's like blowing up and I was like, ooh, that went bad. I need to delete that. And then the next morning I wake up, my buddy sent me a picture of his phone, like his main phone page with a picture of me on there with all kinds of like I'm on the cover of like some tabloid, and I was like, for real?
Jalopnik reached out to YT Biggs, who politely declined to comment on this very serious incident.
I do remember getting the call from the boss man saying like, dude, you're making a mess. Please stop. And I said, okay.
I was the first person to talk to Scott after the incident happened.
Steve Myers is the executive producer for iRacing. He not only handles most of the business aspects of iRacing, but also handles aspects of suspensions and appeals.
I literally had called him early in the day because we're just launching a World Championship esport with Rallycross, and I wanted to bring him in the loop on that because I really wanted him to participate in that. 6 hours later, I'm getting messages and videos of him, causing mayhem on iRacing, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what now I got to deal with this.
After a call with its PR team, iRacing decided on a 1-week suspension for Scott.
I spoke with him, and he was apologetic.
If he's watching, I'm sorry. My bad.
He knew that he went too far, and I think as Scott is a genuine person, he's transparent, he is what he is, and so yes, he made a mistake, but at the same time, he also knows when he makes a mistake, and he's willing to take ownership for it, and kind of is willing to, figure out how to make amends with anyone that he's wronged.
I mean, outside of the mass public, I think I'm public enemy #1 still in this sim racing world. The best thing about it is that I'll more than likely never do it again.
More than likely.
I sure hope so, because I can't go through it again.